But what I'm trying to tell you is let it go. Stop carrying that weight around if that's what you're doing. If you're carrying some weight of, oh, I wanted to do this so bad and I didn't get to do it, and I didn't get that Ranger tab, you got a CIB on your chest, you're fine in my book. Everybody's going home thinking they didn't do enough. Everybody's going home wishing they got to do a little more. That's just the way we're built. You gotta let that go. You're carrying it around. The Lord wants you to know, let it go. Hey folks, Rick Mills here, post bike ride. A little more bike ride wisdom. So, three phases to this video. Phase one, I'm going to say some things that are going to establish some credibility and legitimacy for my message, which is part two. And then part three, if you want to, you can stick around for that. So let's get into it. So I just spent, let me get rid of these cans. I just spent a week with a young infantryman, and it put something on my heart that I need to talk to you guys about. So went to my laundry, because this is dirty. I pulled this out of the stinky laundry. Getting ready to take a shower anyways. So background, Ricky Mills. Who's Ricky Mills? I got to 1st Ranger Battalion in April of 1992 during my bike ride. I've been saying for years and years and years, I did 6 years in the Ranger Battalion. So anywho, showed up to Ranger Battalion. First I went through RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program. I 4187 myself into the Ranger Battalion. If you don't know it, back in the day they had this thing called the Stars and Stripes. I joined the Army, and when I went to the recruiter, I just went to the recruiter. I needed to get out of Dodge before the life I was living killed me or I ended up in jail. And so I went to the recruiter, and I looked at the recruiter and I said, I want to be in the woods a lot, and I want to jump out of planes. And he was like, I think he almost messed his pants. But he said, I got a video for you to watch. And I watched he showed me the 13 Foxtrot recruiting video, which is a bunch of stuff blowing up, you know, some guy with a set of binoculars and some OP observation position watching and calling in fire over the radio, you know, all camouflaged up and stuff. And you know, the theme for fire support teams are FIST. The FIST is the eyes of death. And I was like, oh, you got me now. Boom, hook, line, and sinker. I want to be the eyes of death. Well, what I didn't realize, because I didn't know what a Ranger was. I kind of knew what a Green Beret was. I mean, I had seen the movie The Green Beret with John Wayne as a kid, but I didn't put two and two together. I guess I was just ignorant. Believe it or not, I didn't even know you got paid when you joined the military. I thought you just joined and you served. You got 3 hots and a cot, and you got out and you went home. Sounds crazy, huh? So, anywho, basic AIT, and then I end up in airborne school, which was in my contract. And there's all these Navy SEALs running around during my basic airborne class. And every time there was a mud puddle during our airborne class, the SEAls would break ranks and dive into the mud puddle and make the little SEAL noise, or whatever. And I was like, man, these guys are nuts. But I joined the Army. I didn't join the Navy, so I'm not going to be jealous. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. So 3 weeks later, we're graduating from airborne school. Now this is December 1989. What's the significance of this with December of 1989? The United States was invading Panama, or getting ready to invade Panama. I had 4 jumps and I needed 1 more jump. And all these Green Berets and guys with black berets, which used to only belong to the Rangers back in the day, were running around all over post with a purpose. Every place you saw somebody going, they were moving. They were on track. They had something to do. Because we were getting ready to invade Panama on the first invasion, December 1989. So I had to call my mom when they actually invaded, because they took all our aircraft. We actually had to wait for the aircraft to for the invasion to be done so we could get aircraft back so we could do our 5th jump. So I had to call my mom from Fort Benning and say, hey, I'm not in Panama, I'm still down here at Fort Benning, graduating from airborne school. I'm coming home on leave. You'll see me pretty soon for Christmas. Because I had a contract for Germany, which came in my AIT. So boom, basic AIT, graduate AIT. You get orders for Germany. I'm like, whatever. I don't know the difference. Go to airborne school. On the last day of airborne school, and I don't know if they do this anymore, they may still do it for all you youngins that haven't joined yet. There's several times where if you don't get a Ranger contract, there's times that you can just volunteer for a Ranger contract before you come down on orders. AIT is one of those places, Advanced Individual Training. You can already raise your hand and talk to a recruiter for a Ranger assignment. There's not a lot of guys raising their hand for that, believe it or not. And then the other times at the end of airborne school, if you have stateside orders, they can swap you out with somebody, or they can pull you from that stateside assignment and drag you into the Ranger tank. So at the end of it, there is this Ranger comes up, sets a table up. We're graduating from airborne school, we're all in ranks. Boom, it ends. Hey, there's a special message from this Ranger, stands in front of the entire formation. Anybody want to volunteer for the Ranger Regiment? Fall out, stand over here and get in line. I did that, got in line, and boom, 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 all the way up. My turn, show him my stuff. He said, you got orders to Germany. I can't change your orders. You got to go. So I had to stand there and watch all these youngins throw their duffel bags in the back of a 5 deuce and a half back then. Deuce and a half, not 5 ton. And they, the truck pulls away and they're running with their stuff behind it, and they go off to what was then called RIP. So the bottom line up front message to this video is, if you were an infantryman in combat, if you led combat armed soldiers into combat anywhere, and then never got to go to Ranger school, or went to Ranger school, failed, didn't get to go back the second time, or you were on multiple deployments, your Ranger school slot came up and you chose to deploy with your unit and lead men in combat for a year, for 15 months, for 6 months, or however long, okay? If you're out of the military and you're a veteran and you're walking around and you're telling that story to veteran X, the guy at the bar or somebody you're visiting, or something like, oh man, one of my regrets from my time in the military is that I didn't get to go to Ranger school. If you led men in combat, you're staying up for 3 days, you're cold, wet, tired, and hungry, your men are cold, wet, tired, and hungry, and you're leading those men in combat, and you end up coming home and getting a CIB. If you're infantry only, airborne, air assault, whatever, and you didn't get the Ranger tab, if you have a CIB, in my book, your CIB has the same value as the Ranger tab. The Ranger tab is a school. The scroll is a way of life, okay? The Ranger tab is a school. The scroll is a way of life. By no means can you go down to Clothing and Sales or some store and get a Ranger tab and put it on. You didn't pass the school. But what I'm trying to tell you is, let it go. Stop carrying that weight around if that's what you're doing. If you're carrying some weight of, I wanted to do this so bad and I didn't get to do it, and I didn't get that Ranger tab, if you got a CIB on your chest, you're fine in my book. You led men in combat. Ranger school is a leadership school, okay? Ranger school is designed to put you in a cold, wet, tired, and hungry situation and see how you act. And then it's designed to put the rest of your class in the same situation. A whole bunch of cold, wet, tired, and hungry people. And then they put you in a leadership position where you, when you're cold, wet, tired, and hungry, you have to lead a bunch of cold, wet, tired, and hungry people. How are you gonna act? How is your leadership gonna act? Are you gonna go to sleep? Are you gonna fall apart? Are you not gonna be able to formulate an op order, or you're not going to be able to lead your men through rehearsals, or you're not going to be able to land navigate yourself to an objective rally point, or you're not going to be able to get your support by fire in position, get your assault in position, conduct a raid, get on the objective, reconsolidate, reorganize, keep men alive on the battlefield, which is exactly what you did when you're in combat. If you didn't get your Ranger tab, you got your CIB. In my book, you're good. Doesn't make you a regimental ranger from the 75th Ranger Regiment, okay? But if you don't have your tab and you're beating yourself up over that, you're good in my book. You got your CIB, you're an infantryman, paratrooper, air assault, you're good, okay? The Ranger tab is a school. The Ranger scroll is a way of life. In the regiment, we had a saying back in the day, which stands true. I'd rather be a scroll without a tab than a tab without a scroll. What does that mean? That means I would rather have been PFC, Private Joe Snuffy the Ragbag in the Ranger Battalion and deploy with the Ranger Regiment than to have the tab and not have that combat scroll on my shoulder, okay? So back to Ricky Mills and the history of Ricky Mills. Went to RIP 1992, graduated from RIP, Distinguished Honor Graduate, after 3 weeks of training. I actually stood in formation. General Grange, or Colonel Grange at the time, Fulbert. Colonel Grange was the regimental commander at the time. And Sergeant Major, knife hand, Leon Guerrero, that's where I learned it, the knife hand, the famous knife hand. Leon Guerrero was the Sergeant Major, and actually Colonel Grange and Sergeant Major Guerrero, I have a picture of it, put my beret on my head. And then I had a choice of what battalion I wanted to go to, and of course, you always choose 1st Battalion. So I ended up going to 1st Battalion and doing 6.5 years there in fire support. I was a Fort Observer in SECO 175 for 3 years, where I won the best fist competition individually. And then I went on to ACO 175 as a fire support NCO when I'm 85, and then staff sergeant as a fire support NCO. And you know, the Ranger Regiment is a different environment, okay? There's a few things I had planned to say on this one, but for all you people out there, if you're a combat veteran, this makes sense to you. If you're not, it doesn't. In the world of educating yourself, when you're a private, you read books like Lima Company Rangers, Blood on the Risers, stuff like that. When you become an NCO, you're reading stuff that has to do with like midline leadership, the Chosun, We Were Soldiers Once and Young. And you're learning from mistakes on the battlefield. Hey, I'm not going to make that. When you become a platoon sergeant or a platoon leader, a lieutenant and above, you start reading things like Men Under Fire. And the best example I can give of the difference between a Ranger unit and an infantry unit comes from the book Men Under Fire. So in your standard infantry line unit, paratrooper line unit might be a little bit more air assault. You know, in the world of, I'll use Triple H, Horrible Harold Hance. All right, everybody remember First Sergeant Hance from ACO 175? His saying, he would get in front of the formation, he was like, "Pray for war, men, pray for war." And we did. We prayed for war. And back to Colonel Grange, who retired as General Grange, and Leon Guerrero, who I think is retired now. I just saw his thing on Facebook. I would have followed those men into hell. If Colonel Grange stood in front of the regiment and said, "Men, we're taking hell," I would have been the first guy in line, and I would have invaded hell with Colonel Grange and the 75th Ranger Regiment. That's the kind of unit, the kind of people that you serve with when you're in the regiment. But in Men Under Fire, when you read that, you learn about what happens to a fire team, a squad, a platoon, and so on and so forth. When you take fire, what happens when you take fire? And they give the analogy of like waist-high grass. You take rounds, react to contact, everybody takes the ground, and everybody goes from a unit in a V formation for a fire team, 4 guys, squad, 8 to 9 guys with squad leader, machine gun, so on and so forth. You go down in the grass and everybody immediately becomes individuals. And in Men Under Fire, in a standard infantry unit, and this goes back to the infantry guys when I talk about the Ranger tab versus the CIB, and if you have a CIB but you never made it to Ranger School, you got it, man. So in a regular infantry unit, which what the book really pertains to, when you go down in the grass, you take fire, everybody becomes an individual. You were a unit, now you're in the grass, you're taking fire, rounds are zipping through the grass, rounds are popping over your head. Who's going to get up first? In a 4-man fire team or a squad, usually one guy will be the first guy to actually react to contact and come up and start shooting back at the enemy. And then, because that one person started shooting back at the enemy, your second guy will come up because he gets the courage from the other guy shooting, and now you have 2 guys returning fire, and now they can work. Magazine, boom, land, start land. But you got 2 guys that are back there scared shitless, digging a hole and trying to bury themselves. And in Men Under Fire, they talk about everybody has value in the world of, in their backpacks, there's ammo, there's frags, there might be claymores, they're there. When it's downtime, you still have 4 people, you're still a unit. So in the world of combat, in a regular infantry unit, leaders need to know their men. Know your men, know your mission, right? Know yourself. And so in a regular infantry unit, you've got to deal with that. And I've been there. I've seen it in combat. And I didn't deploy to combat with the Ranger Regiment. I deployed as a Green Beret. So working with the 506, working with 4th ID, working with the 502nd, blah, blah, blah. So that's where some of my stuff comes from. I prayed for war for 6.5 years, and I didn't get to go. That's when I went SF. I was like, shit, if the regiment can't get me there, I'll put a Green Beret on my head. They got to get me there, right? So you're in a regular infantry unit, and you know that when you take contact, because you've been there, you're there. You're a fire team leader. You're Spec 4 Mafia, and you know you've got a guy that every time you take fire, he buries himself. He starts digging a hole. He won't return fire. You're a squad leader. You got guys, and you're trying to break your fire teams up and plus guys up, split them down the center. The number one difference between the regular Army, and this is why when my brother, Chris, joined the Army, I said, you want to be a Ranger. Because when you go to the Ranger Battalion, this is what it's like. Because you're probably going to survive. Because when Rangers take fire, I want you to imagine 100% of your force reacting to contact properly and returning fire. Some idiot out there takes a pop shot at a Ranger fire team or a Ranger squad or platoon. They just open up a whole can of whoop ass. They have no clue what they just asked for. When you have 100% of weapon systems, your 249s, your 203s, your M4s, everything all at once, you made a really bad mistake, and you're going to pay with your life. And guess what? All the Rangers are going home. Sometimes guys take rounds, and we can't bring them all home, but a huge majority of the time, the Rangers will gain and maintain fire superiority. They will gain the initiative, speed, surprise, violence of action. They will bound around or whatever they have to do, leadership in that situation, and they will kill the enemy, and they will walk over that objective. That's the difference between a Ranger unit and a bunch of guys running around in the 10th Mountain or the 82nd or the 101st with Ranger tabs. So, God bless you if you were a fire team leader, squad leader, platoon sergeant, platoon leader in combat in any of those units, and you knew that you had guys, you get ready to go to war, and some of you guys just won't do it. And you had to deal with that. So good on you. If you got your CIB and you went down range, you did bad things to bad people, and you brought as many of your guys home as you could, good on you. But you don't have the Ranger tab. If you got a CIB, in my book, if you did, you know what you did or didn't do. In my book, you're good to go. All right, to finish up this video, I'll take you to level 3, and that is the Lord wants you to know that He loves you. All right, so for all you Vikings out there, for all you whatever, Jesus Christ wants you to know that, I'll put it this way, everything happens for a reason. Everything in your life, from the time you were born until right now, has prepared you to be the man that you are right now. The man or the woman, the man that you are right now. Everything happens for a reason. Your childhood, whatever happened to you in school, when you joined the military, why you joined the military, what unit you went to, what happened to you, what didn't happen to you, what you did or didn't do. And then the Lord is preparing you for what He has prepared for you. So if everything happens for a reason, and the Lord is taking all the things that happen to us to prepare us, the Lord is preparing you for what He has prepared for you. Okay? I, Ricky Mills, am exactly where I need to be able to reach out to a lot of veterans that may be hurting right now because they don't understand why. They're doing a lot of why. Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to my buddy? Why did this happen to me? Why? And I'm telling you right now that the Lord has a purpose for your suffering. The Lord wants you to, in lack of better terms, suffer joyfully. Okay? I won't go too much into it on this video, but you know, I was 37 years old when a car hit me doing 60 miles an hour, and I died on the side of the road within 6 months of getting back from Iraq. And that, you know, the Lord, everything happens for a reason. The Lord is preparing you for what He has prepared for you. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair advocating for veterans, trying to advocate for veterans, trying to reach out and touch as many veterans as I can, if I didn't get hit by that car. Because I was a soldier. All I ever wanted to, in my selfish self, all I ever wanted to do was be a soldier. That's all I ever wanted to do. And when that was ripped out from underneath me, when that was taken away from me, you know, there's the tendency to say, why? Why me? Why did this happen to me? But in my world, I didn't do that. I believe there's a reason for that, but I chose to say, what? What do you want me to do with this, Lord? I'm broken. You took what I thought used to be Superman, and you broke it so bad. You broke the toy soldier so bad, he can't put himself back together. Yeah, I look good. I physically, on the outside, I look great, but I'm broken in so many ways. And I suffer every day. This morning was hell getting out of bed. Hell. I was at a level 9. I got out of bed this morning at a level 9 out of a level 10 pain scale. Not going to expound on that. But here I am getting off my bike because I just won't quit. That's just the way the Lord made me. So that's my message to you. The Lord loves you because you were able to go out and do things in His name. Okay? There will be a day when Jesus comes back to the earth, riding on a horse, leading the saints, and with the breath from his mouth he will wipe the enemy away. But until that day, he needs men and women like you to do bad things to bad people in the name of God, himself, country, and what I like to say, apple pie, family, friends, freedom. So, to close this video out, if you don't have a Ranger tab, get over it, man. You got a CIB, you led men in combat, put it down. Stop talking about it. You don't need it. You didn't need it. God didn't give it to you. Everything happens for a reason, and the Lord is preparing you for what he has prepared for you. Every time you suffer unjoyfully and complain about the fact that you didn't get a chance to go to Ranger School, and you don't realize that you got to go do bad things to bad people in his name, you were touched. You were blessed. So to close this video out, I want to talk about one last thing. Again, everything happens for a reason. The Lord is preparing you for what he has prepared for you. One of the keynotes on this, other than the whole Ranger tab issue, Ranger School issue, is survivor's guilt. There's a lot. I'm talking 99% of the people I meet are suffering from some type of survivor's guilt. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and this might help somebody today. So this might, if you made it this far in the video, this might be a message for you. I'll tell you right now, almost everybody suffers from survivor's guilt. From the 10th Mountain to the 101st to the 82nd to the Ranger Battalion to the Green Berets to Delta Force operators to Navy SEALs. Everybody's going home thinking they didn't do enough. Everybody's going home wishing they got to do a little more. That's just the way we're built. You gotta let that go. You're carrying it around. The Lord wants you to know, let it go. Because in your life, you're exactly where the Lord wants you to be right now. It's just up to you to figure out and start talking to him and opening your heart and asking the Lord, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do with this life? It's not my fault I lived. It's not my fault I didn't die for my country. It's not. I tried. So now what am I supposed to do with the rest of this life that I've got? Number one, live it. Live it. The greatest thing God gave you was your life. You take your own life, you're spitting in God's face. You're taking away his ability to sharpen your knife and mold you into the person that he wants you to be, to give you the purpose, to reveal to you what your purpose is. Every human being, from the moment you're born, God knows how many hairs are on your head. He'd take your soul and put it in your body, and your soul has a purpose. If you don't know what that purpose is, it's up to you to talk to him and try to figure out what that is. Stop saying why and start asking what. What, Lord? What do you want me to do with the rest of this life that I have? Well, I'm telling you right now, Jesus loves you. And he wanted me to tell you that. Wants me to tell you that. He loves you exactly the way you are. Everything happens for a reason. The Lord is preparing you for what he has prepared for you. All I'd say right now is, in your life, are you self-medicating and dulling your knife? Are you doing things? Are you self-destructing? Are you committing whatever? Are you making your weapon dirtier? Are you making your knife duller? Or are you sharpening your knife so that the Lord can use you when and where he needs to use you? It's not in combat. It's not always in combat. It's not always doing bad things to bad people. But the things that you went through, the things that you did, everything made you exactly who you are today. Jesus loves you. That's the final message of this video. God bless. Amen.